Good morning, all.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Samantha.
Good morning.
Good morning, Shania. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So before we start our today's class, let's do a quick recap. Okay. So what are the functions we learned during the last class? Give me the keywords.
Info.
Info, yes, that's correct. Info.
Describe.
Describe, yes. Describe.
Concatenate. Concat.
Concat. Okay.
Merge.
We have merge. These are from, all are from pandas. Okay. We learned about pandas indexing, correct? We learned about pandas indexing. Anything else? Rahul, you are able to see the recording, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We learned about drop function. You guys remember? We learned about drop function,
Yes.
learned about del. How do you delete a column? We in indexing, we learned about lock and iLock. Correct?
Yes, sir.
What else? We covered certain smaller functions such as dot unique, dot columns. To understand what does dot unique give? What does this function do? Dot unique.
Unique values.
Correct. It gives unique values. If a column is categorical, it gives all the unique categories which are present in the column. What does dot column do? It gives you the list of columns in data frame. Correct. We also talked about formatting, like you putting conditionals data frame, something like df of age greater than 20. You guys remember?
Yes, sir.
Giving single condition and also multiple condition with and or. Okay. Now in today's class, we are going to take one step forward in indexing of data frame. So we are going to talk about multi-index. So oftentimes we are not satisfied with having a single index. Okay. So let us see this data to understand why I said that. So let me run it. Okay. Now, why is it taking too much of time? Okay. Now, which of the columns that you now which of the columns you want to figure out on the basis of keys? Oftentimes when you see this particular data in Excel sheet, what do? You see that Google is repeated 3 times. Microsoft is repeated 3 times. Are you guys aware of a function called merge and center in Excel?
Yes, sir.
So we
Yes,
do
sir.
merge and center so that we understand this data, these 3 rows of data belongs to Google. These 3 rows of data belongs to Microsoft. Correct? So here, what we do is we set in normal fashion, as you set any particular column as an index. So here you are going to pass a list of columns. Okay, you're going to pass list of columns, and now if you see the data, you see your data, it looks something like this. So company is also your index, and year is also your index. Now this looks something like merge and center. Are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now how many columns do I have now?
Four main columns.
How many columns do I have? What do I see? Dot.
Column.
Okay. Dot. If you want to see dot columns, we'll see dot columns. I have only 2 columns. What is the alternate method to see? Dot shape. I have 2 columns. I have 6 rows. Now, how do I fetch the index, the row index? What do I do is I use dot log. Dot log, I select Google, I get revenue, revenue of Google. Correct? I give Microsoft, I get revenue of Microsoft. Okay. Now, but you specifically need 2009 Google data. Okay. Now, I want this 2009 Google data. How do I do it? I have 2 indexes here. What I have to do is, first, I have Google data. First I fetch Google data. Then I have to use dot log once again and specify the year. Then I get the data. What data I was looking for? Employees and revenue. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's say that, can I bypass this particular index? Can I bypass it? Let's say that instead of specifying this particular index, I'll directly specify dot loc 2009. Can I bypass this? Any ideas?
That time we'll get two datas, like Google and Microsoft, both 2009 data is there.
It says that the label is not in the index. It was searching this particular keyword in this particular index. Correct? It did not find it. Or can I do this? Here, let's say I want everything. Still, it gives an error. Correct? You cannot bypass it. So, in order to resolve this, in order to get rid of this, I have a function called XS. Now, what XS does is, it is similar to your lock and iLock. But here, when you have levels of indices, what you can do is you can specify index, specify the keyword. Let's say I want 2008. Okay, I want the data of 2008. And here I have a keyword called level. In level, I have to specify the index column. So 2008 is in which index column? It's in year index column. And I run it. Okay. So it is numerical. Okay, and I get the data. Okay, similarly, if I want to fetch Microsoft information, I give the keyword as Microsoft and I give the level as company, because Microsoft is in company index column, and I get the details of Microsoft. 2008, what was the revenue, how many employees? 2009, what was the revenue, how many employees, and all that. Correct? Are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any doubts on this?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, let us move on. So you don't have to bother much about Seaborn. We'll cover this up. So Seaborn has a lot of built-in data sets. So I'm going to fetch one of the data set, that is PIPS. Okay, this is a built-in data set which is already pre-built in Python Seaborn package. So we'll cover more of it when we comes to data visualization. Seaborn is basically a data visualization package. Okay, so if you go through this data, okay, if you go through this data, let's say if you go through this data, it is about a hotel. What was the total bill? What is the tip given by the customer? It is the sex of the waiter, whether it is a male waitress, male waiter or a female waitress serving the customer, whether it's a smoking table or a non-smoking table, whether which day the customer, this particular row is represents for which day, and also this particular transaction represents for which time, and the number of customers. Size represents the number of customers. Are you guys clear on the data set?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, I have the data. What do I do next? I imported my data. I imported my data here. Okay. I got the brief idea about the data. The feeling of the data, how exactly it looks through the function head. Okay. What is the next step? What is the next step? I mentioned this in the last class. The next step is to see the information. .info. Are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, how many rows do I have?
9.
9.
How many rows? I have 244 rows. The reason why you're getting 9 because the index starts from 0 to 9 and I gave a number 10 here. If I want to see first 15 rows, I can give 15, I get 15 here. If I don't do anything, by default, it gives me the first 5 rows. How do I see last 5 rows of the data?
Using tail.
Using tail. Using tail. Now, how many rows do I have now?
244.
Yes, it starts from 0 and at 243, it's 244. Or either I can check with .info, I have 244. Now, how many columns do I have?
7.
7 columns. Okay, any missing values?
No.
sir.
No missing values. So each row has 244. Okay. Now, how many numerical and how many categorical?
3 numerical, 4 categorical.
3 numerical, 4 categorical. Okay. So what is the next step after seeing .info?
Describe.
I want to see the description. .describe. Okay. Now, in describe, let us first focus on the categorical. Okay. What are these columns? What are these columns?
Categorical.
Categorical. How do you know it? How do you know that they are categorical?
Because mean are they have given as nan values.
Yes, there are a lot of nan values here. For numerical, they are full of nan values. Okay, now sex column has 244 rows. There are 2 unique values. One of them is male. What could be the other one?
Female.
Female.
It could be trans also, right?
Yes.
It could be trans also. So never guess anything. Always have to go back, check the data and conclude. Okay. What is the frequency of male waiters?
157.
157. Okay. Now, there are 2 types of tables. There are 2. I mean, there is yes and there are 2 varieties of tables under smoker category. One is no. What could be the other one? That is yes. Okay. So, what is the frequency of number of no table?
151.
Non-smoker table, that is 151. Okay. In day column, the restaurant works for 4 days in a week. One of the days is Saturday. How do I check other days?
Excess the one day.
Excess will only come for index.
Okay. Sir.
Excess function will only come for index. Remember this. If you want to fetch the row index, okay, not the column index. If you want to fetch the row index, you have lock and iLock. Lock is used for specifying the user defined keywords, okay, such as Google, Microsoft. ilock is for system build 0, 1, 2, you give the numbers. And access comes whenever there are multiple indices, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now the question is, the restaurant operates for 4 days in a week. One of the days is Saturday. How do I understand what other days the restaurant operates?
Tips
That
dot
is
unique.
the function called unique. Okay, now in time column, there are two unique values. I mean, two unique times the restaurant operates in a day. One of the time is during the dinner. The other could be
Lunch.
lunch or could be breakfast. We don't know. We need to see with unique once again. Okay. Are you guys clear on this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, the analysis what we did just now, that is nothing but your single column analysis. Okay. What is the behavior of each column? Clear. Now, before that, I spoke about time. You give time dot unique, or the other way, what you can do is, sorry, it's call the column time dot unique, call the function. You will understand that one was dinner, the other one is lunch. Are you guys clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Samantha, tell me, how would I see the unique values in day column? Samantha, you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. First, I fetch my
Info.
data. Okay. I want which column? The
Date.
day column. I can give either dot day, correct?
Yes.
Or I can use the parenthesis. Okay. Now I have the date. If I give dot unique, so the restaurant works on Sunday, Saturday, Thursday, and Friday, only during the weekends. Okay. Now, similarly, for to check the different categories in sex column, do I have to write a separate code? No, the code remains same. Only thing is my column name changes. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, so the discussion what we did was on individual columns. That is nothing but we did univariant analysis. So there is a single variant, that is nothing but a single column. You did the analysis of your single column. What else I can do? What more I can do with this these columns? You can do bivariant analysis, right? You can compare. You can compare. How do I compare? Let's say all the smoker table where women waiters served, what is the total bill? What is the total tip? Correct? I'm comparing smoker, the category of waiter, total bill, checking the total bill, checking the total tip. Are you guys with me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And check the same for non-smoker table also. Correct? This is bivariant analysis. Now, if I want to combine gender of the waiter and compare the category of the table and use the time and check the tip and total bill, that will be multivariant analysis. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Something like what happens when it is dinner hour, when women waiter serving smoker table versus a male waiter. You can do comparison and reduce the output. You can reduce a lot of things from your data. Correct? These are all the hidden facts and truths. Correct? You're slicing and dicing your data. Are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, coming to numerical. Coming to your numerical in dot describe. Okay. Let us focus on the total bill. My mean is 19. My standard deviation is half of mean. Correct? Okay. My data starts with 3.07. 25th percentile is 13. What is the range here? $10. From 13 to 17, what is the range here?
4,
$4. 17 to 24,
7,
$7. And 24 to 50,
26.
26. Now, do I understand the distribution of the data? It's something like this. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, for the tip, the average tip is 2.99, around close to $3. My standard deviation is around close to half of my average. Correct? So you get a minimum tip of $1 and a maximum tip of $10. What is the maximum bill for total? I mean, by maximum total bill, maximum value of total bill, that is $50. Correct? So what is the distribution here? What is the range here? 1. What is the range here? 0.9.
0.9,
What is the range here?
0.4,
0.6.
0.6,
What is the range here?
6.5.
No. Yeah, 6.5. Okay. So how the data is distributed? Skewed. Correct? Coming to size. Your mean is 2.5. You can say as 3. That means on an average, 3 people come in a group. Standard deviation is
0.9.
0.9.
This one.
Okay. So minimum 1 person, maximum in a group of 6. So these are the few ideas that I'm drawing from the data. Okay. But am I going to jump into conclusion? The answer is no. I have to still look into the data and try to get more deeper and understand. Correct? Now, since we did dot unique, we checked dot unique values in your categorical. Can I use dot unique in your numerical? Can I use dot unique in my numerical? let's say I want to see the tip. Okay. I can use, but will this data be of any use?
No, sir.
No. Correct. This does not have serve any purpose. So dot unique is used only for your categorical column. So in numerical, you have too many unique values. It will not add any information to you. Okay. Now that you are analyzing this data, okay, the first question you may ask is, which column should I consider for analysis? Okay, you might be considered, like suppose now here we only have around 7 columns. Sometimes you have some columns like around 15 columns or 20 columns. You might wonder like which column should I use for analysis? Correct? So this is called feature selection. You want to select which features are important. So the basic idea is to understand the business needs, and on the business needs, you can narrow down the columns. Okay. Now, if I want to decide whether I want to run my restaurant during the daytime, during the afternoon, or during the night time, which columns do you think would be important for me? Suppose I have this data set, and based on this data set, I want to understand, is it more profitable if I run my if I run my restaurant during night, or if I run my restaurant during the afternoon? Which features do you think would you select?
Size.
Correct. One is size.
Tip.
Will restaurant have anything to do with the tip?
No, the waiters will have. So tip is not required.
Tip is not required. I look for the revenue, right? I look for the total bill.
Yes, sir. Total.
What other column? I have this data. I want to do my analysis for your night and day separately. So I need time.
Time.
I need to extract the data, right? Okay. Now, let us do our start small analysis. Okay. I want to see, I spoke about extraction, the data extraction. How do I extract it? How do I extract the data?
The name of the data frame.
So what I do is, I use my data frame. Okay. If so, let's say I want to extract only the dinner data. Okay. So I select the column and I give what do I get here? Only the true and false. What do I have to do? I have to pass this condition back into my data frame, and I have my data frame with dinner time. Correct? What next? What next?
The size.
Let's say that you are interested to see, you understand the size. So you select size, you get only the size columns. What do you want to see? You want to see the average people visiting during the night. That is close to 3. Correct? Or you can see maximum, that is 6. Let's say You want to see the total bill. Oh. You have the total bill. You want to see the total bill collected when the restaurant runs at night. I want to compare this with the total bill collected when the restaurant runs during the afternoon. How do I do it?
In place of dinner, you have to.
Correct. I copy the same code. In place of dinner, I change it to
Lunch.
lunch. Now, which is better?
Dinner.
Dinner is better? Correct. Okay. Now, I want to see how many people visited or how many groups of people visited during the daytime, during the night time. How do I see it?
In place of
I copy the same code. Okay. In place of,
total bill, we put size.
I put size. If I give sum, what do I get? That is total number of people. Correct? Total number of people who have visited the restaurant during the
Night time.
during night time. For daytime, I just change it to lunch. So dinner time, there are more people visiting. If I want to know how many groups of people visiting, how do I see? What do I get here? Basically, when I give sum, it gives 4 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, all that, correct? If I want to see how many groups of people visiting, I just have to give dot count. Correct? Still, dinner is better. Okay. Now, are you guys getting the idea?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Hope you're not lost in between.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Now, okay. Now, I want to see what is the total tip received. Okay. So what I do is, I want to see what is the total tip received during afternoon, during lunch. So what I do is, first I filter my data for lunch, select the column and see the sum. If I want to see average, how do I do it? Samantha?
Average.
What?
Dot average.
Not average. Series update has no attribute average. You can use mean. Mean and average one and the same. Correct? Samantha, you there?
Yes, sir.
What you can do is, you run it, you get an error. Copy this error and Google it. Correct? So when you Google it, This, I think it went to some other issue. This is 2 numpy, something else. Okay. Series object to numpy now. Anyway, you can either Google and check it, or what you can do is you can give a tab here. You can give a tab here. In the tab, you can see dot map, max, min. Where did min go? And give dot min. Okay. Now, I want to compare the tip, the total bill, and the size of group, size of people visiting the restaurant and during the lunch and the dinner hour. Okay. What I do is, are you guys understanding this code? Did you guys understand this code?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So earlier, what we did was, we filtered our data to lunch, and then we try to fetch multiple columns. If you want to fetch a single column, what you do is you pass the single column the way we did here. Okay. We wanted to fetch single column, but here we want to fetch multiple columns. So you pass a list of columns. Total bill. You pass list of columns and you get 2 columns. Okay. And then you give the function something like sum to see the total sum. Okay. You see the mean. Okay. Similarly, I think I can delete this. Similarly, I want to see what is the average tip, average bill, and the size of people visiting the restaurant during afternoon and for dinner. Okay, but still this code is too complicated. Even though it's very simple to understand, still I feel the code is very complicated. So what I do is I use a function called as group by. You guys heard about a function called as pivot in Excel sheet, right?
Yes.
So similar to pivot, we have a function called group by in Python, pandas. So using group by is much easier and much faster than using pivot. All I have to do is I have to call the function, and inside the function I have to specify the column against which I have to group it. So when you just run this particular code, you will not get any output, but internally Python what it does is When you internally, what it does is it will group the keys with respect to the data. Let's say that you want to group by based on this particular key. So it groups your data. Let's say that you have multiple A's and you have equivalent data. It groups everything and it keeps internally, it keeps this particular type of a structure. And whenever you call, apply certain functions such as sum, such as mean or minimum, maximum, it gives you this particular output. Okay. Are you guys clear on this?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, where was I? Now, once you have grouped your data with respect to one column, you can check your mean. So now, based on the grouping of a particular categorical column, you have the output of all your continuous data. That is your total bill, total tip, total size. Which was better? Was this better or this is better? Which is better now?
Group by, sir.
Group by is better. Here it's very difficult for me to compare. The data is not even aligned. It is in vertically. I have to see here, correct? Here it is very pretty much better. Okay. Now, during which time the tip is better?
Dinner.
Dinner.
The tip is better at dinner because the waiters are getting more tip. So now that you know that you can go deeper into the data by using this group by function. Okay. Now I want to see both mean as well as the sum. Okay, not just one function. I want to see both side by side. How do I do it? In order to do that, I have a function over this group by dot aggregate. So if I give dot, you specify with the dot agg aggregate, and inside the bracket you pass on the list of aggregate functions. You want to see sum and mean, and you run it. Okay. Now, for the total bill column, you have the sum, you have the mean for lunch as well as the dinner. Even for the tip, for the size. Is this more readable?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What are aggregate functions?
Combining two or more.
You are combining not two or more. These the functions, like you want to see mean in a data, you want to see maximum value in a data, you want to see count in a data, you want to see unique values. All those are aggregate values. Those are derived from your data. Those are called aggregate. Okay. Now, I want to group my data not just with time, but with other categorical columns as well. Okay. How do I do it is, I pass a series of categorical column and check my aggregate. I want to see mean, sum and count. Now I get the summary of my complete data. Is this more readable?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, okay. Now, who gets more tip? If I want to answer certain questions, something like who gets more tip, how do I do it? I pass a list here. I pass a list here. Correct? Now, who gets more tip? Which waiter? Which category of waiter gets more tip?
During lunch, male.
Okay.
Both the times it's male, sir.
Both the times it's male.
Male.
Who gets least tip? At which time they get least tip?
Females during lunch.
Females during lunch. Okay. And when do you get maximum business? Or if a table is, when do you get maximum business when a table is served by male or a female?
Male, sir.
Male.
Male only. Now I'll go one step ahead and I categorize my data. I add day also. Now, on which day, which gender gets more tip? Sunday night, male.
Sunday male, sir. Sunday
You see
night.
the highest number here, correct? You see the gender here and see the day here, correct?
Yes, sir.
Who gets least tip? Somebody is getting $3 here.
Females.
Thursday
night.
Thursday night, females. Which night or which day you have the highest bill?
Sunday.
That is on Sunday. Sunday during dinner,
When
correct?
Male.
When male is served in the restaurant. Okay. Now, these kind of analysis you can do directly using the function group by. Correct? You can answer countless questions. You can slice and dice your data and answer a lot of questions and go very deep within the data. Now, can you do all this in your Excel sheet? You have to do tons of filters and you have to do a lot of pivots and you have to each and everything and you have to make a note. Correct?
Yes.
So Python helps you to attack the exact question what the business is looking for. Correct? Now we had concluded earlier that the tips during dinner is better. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Now let me see the percentage. Okay. What I do is I'll say the percentage. How much percent is this?
14%.
14.9%. And for lunch, I'll say the percentage. How much is this?
15.8.
50.
15. Now, which is better?
Lunch.
Lunch is better. Earlier, we agreed that dinner is better. Looking at this, we suddenly understood that at dinner time you get better tips. Correct? But when we
Yes,
saw the
Total.
percentage wise, now we came to understand that lunch is better.
Yes, sir.
Correct? Now, let me change this to median. Okay, let me will do it again here. Time, I'll see the median. Okay. Now with respect to median, which is better? Let's say 2.25 divided by 15.9, I get 14%. And for 3, I get 16%. Now which is better?
Dinner.
Now once again dinner is better. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So earlier when you said dinner was better, you are actually correct. But I kind of deceived you in between. Okay, I deceived you in between. Once again, I proved you that dinner is better. So that's where what you have to do is you have to be always test your outputs, whatever outputs you get, whatever story you get, you have to always test it. Always you have to cross check it before you jump to the conclusion. Correct? Are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let us take a small break. Okay. And after the break, we covered group by. After the break, we are going to we'll try to close Python pandas today. Okay. From the next class, we can start data visualization. Now it's 12:31. Let us be back at 12:40. Is it okay?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Shall we start? Are you guys back?
Yes, sir.
Samantha, Shaina?
Yes, sir.
Samantha, are you back? Samantha, are you there? Okay, I think she might join in a minute. So before we went on a break, we discussed about an important function called as group by, which makes your life very easy when it comes to analyzing your data, correct? Now, just with a single line of code, you will get a summary of almost all the numerical and categorical columns just with single line of code. In the same fashion, what I have done is here, I am filtering my data with respect to time, with respect to the sex. If I have to do the same code in normal Python, it will take a lot of time. Let's say that I want to generate this particular output using normal Python. That will be first, I have to filter my data with respect to time. Okay. Let's say that I want to filter it for lunch. Okay. I want to filter it for lunch, and I want to check for male waiters. Okay. And after the filter, I need to select the particular column. Let's say keep, and give the call the function. I have to write lines of code just to get the average, whereas directly I can get it here. Are you guys clear on group by? Samantha, are you back?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is group by clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, let us move on to one more analysis. So this is a time-based data. You have a time here. Okay. So it is about pollution caused. It is about pollution that is caused in the air. So you can see which date, what is the time. Okay. Which date, what is the time, and at the end you have your temperature, relative humidity, and absolute humidity. Do you really need to break your head to understand the data? The question is no. The Python makes it easy for you. You don't have to break your head to understand the data. Okay. Now, this data is from GitHub. Okay. You guys have the access to this particular data, right? From GitHub. I had shared this link during last class also. I think last to last.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now that you learned about pandas in data analysis, you don't have to break your head on visualization. We'll cover it later. But with respect to your numerical analysis, that is to understand .info or .describe, understand what are the unique values there are, what is the mean of a column. What you can do is you can use these particular data, import them into your data frame, and try to analyze them. Try to understand what is how many are the columns, what is the each and every column behavior is. Okay, try to keep analyzing them. Only then you will get the hang of it. You'll get more grip with it only when you practice it. Okay, now I import my data. I understand the feel of my data. What do I do next? What is the next step?
You need to see the info and describe.
Yes, I see my info. Okay, I see my info here. I see my info here. What happened to this? I see my info and any missing values? Any missing values?
No, sir.
No.
Okay, hold on to that. How many columns do we have?
15.
15 columns. How many rows?
9,357.
9,357. Okay, now something new what you can observe here is your date and time are considered as object. Okay, now what is the next step? I see my describe. Okay, when you do dot describe, look it very carefully. Take your time, look at the data very carefully, and tell me what are the anomalies you're observing here.
Negative values.
Yeah, negative in time. T is time, right, sir?
Okay, now you're observing mean as negative, right? Your mean is in negative, your minimum is in negative, correct?
Yes, sir.
What else? What else you're observing?
It has the same negative values.
Which column?
Minimum.
Yes, that is one observation. Yes, that's why I highlighted here. What else?
The standard deviation is very high everywhere.
Yeah, that is because of some error. Okay, now we are talking about pollution data. We are talking about pollution. Okay, now what the data is about? There is an instrument which captures all the pollutants. Okay, the instrument has a lot of sensors, sensor to measure CO2, sensor to measure PT8, all these pollutants. Even I don't know what these pollutants are. I am aware of what carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, NO2, not this. Okay, anyway, the instrument will capture all of these values from your air, and it's going to calculate the ppm levels. The pollutants are measured in parts per million. Okay, and the data is given. Can you accept negative values? Can you accept negative values in your data?
No.
No, sir.
If you have negative values, that is not acceptable, because negative means air is pumping pollution. Correct? We are pumping pollution to air. That is something very common. But negative means the air is pumping pollution into us. Okay. And the second concept is the instrument which captures all the readings. Okay. They come with the sensors. Okay. Something like your 8-segment display. You guys know about 8-segment display? Your LED displays. If you have a digital watch, you have your number 8 on it, right? Correct?
Yes, sir.
Based on the time, it keeps changing. It gives you it highlights only certain parts.
Yes.
If it
Yes.
is 3, it only highlights these parts. Okay. Similar to that, even these sensors, they have a by default, there is a value driven to it. Okay. That is nothing but minus 200 in this case. Okay. And that means if the sensor is not able to pick any value, not able to pick the value from the air, it will store by default what the value is imprinted on it. Okay. Now the question is, does the data have missing values or no?
There are missing values, sir.
There are missing values.
Whenever
Correct.
there is minus 200,
That means there are missing values. Okay. Now, if you look carefully on this column, your minimum is minus 200, 25th percentile is minus 200, 50th minus 200, 75th minus 200, and your maximum is 1189. Okay. Now, that means with this data, what does this give you? What do you infer from this? I can say more than 75% of my data is missing.
Yes, sir.
Am I right? So all the sensors are continuously working 24/7 and capturing all the inputs from the data from the air. If the sensor is not able to capture any input, it is going to store it with the junk value. That is nothing but missing value. Okay. Even if you don't know about that particular concept, how the sensor work, even without that, you will be smart enough to figure it out, because you cannot have missing values when you talk about pollution. You cannot have negative values when you talk about pollution. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, I said that this particular data has more than 75% is missing. Okay, I said it's more than 75%. Why didn't I say that it is having 75% of the data missing? Why did I stress on that it is more than 75%?
Because the 75th percentile is also missing.
Missing, okay. I could have said up to 75 it is missing, right? But I stress that it is more than 75. Correct? Let's say you have -1, -1, -1, -1, 4. Let's say this is your data. Okay. Okay. This is your 50th percentile. Correct? This is your 25th percentile. This is your 75th percentile. Are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So even after 75th percentile, I have -1 here. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Even after crossing 75 percentage, I have -1 here. That means I am not sure that this -1, -200 is limited only up to this area. When I infer from this particular column, what I infer is this -200 is not only limited to till 75, it may continue further. It may continue in this area also. It may continue in this area, correct?
Yes, sir.
How do I find out? I filter the particular column with -200. I see how many columns do I have. Okay. Now, this many columns divided by what is the total count?
9357.
9357. How much data is missing now?
90%.
90% of the data is missing. So I am left with only 10%. Correct? So will that 10% be any good to me? Can I infer anything from the 10%? Think logically. No, right?
No, sir.
I have 9,000 rows of data, and let's say I have 9,000 rows of data, and only 914 rows of this column NMHC. Will it be any use? No. So what I do is I drop it. Are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, after dropping it, I see the info one again. I don't have the column. NMHC GT. Okay, we can drop. Oh. Give in place equal to true, and the column is dropped. Are you guys understanding?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Now, this is how you use describe to track your missing values. Your data may have junk values in between. You will not be able to find them here. But when you do you dot describe, you will understand those junk values. Correct? Only way you will grow smarter in this is you have to practice. You have to practice a lot. Okay. Now, before we close our session, I'll talk one important aspect of your date time. Okay. Python has inbuilt data type for date time, that is nothing but date time format. Okay. Whenever you observe, whenever you have your columns date and whenever you have your columns time in object, you will not be able to use those functions. So when you have strings in, you have strings in object form, you use .str to use your string methods. Similarly, these columns you have to convert it to date time. So I'm converting to, you have a function in pandas called to_date time. I specify the column, which column I have to convert, and I give the format. Okay, so I give the format that is %m, that is my month, that is my date, this is my year, forward with a /. Okay, I convert them. Okay, I convert them and I checked it once again. Now it is in date time. Okay, now if you want to understand what the format is, you can always Google this. Based on different formats available, you can always Google it and you can do the experiment. Okay, are you guys clear on this?
Yes.
Yes, sir. So earlier it was a string, sir. The date
It was
and time.
object, not string, it was object. It was Python object. So even when you have a text data, it will be an object. You have to convert to dot string, right? To do your indexing or to do any comparison. So similarly, you convert them to date time. Now, certain functions in date time, let us say that you have dot unique. I want to see time dot unique. Okay. Now, how many unique values will I get? If when I do time dot unique, okay. When I do time dot unique, when you see the data carefully, you can see that the experiment started in 2004, that is 3rd October at 6 p.m. in the evening. You have 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. That means every 1 hour your sensor is collecting the information. Correct? So when I give time dot unique, how many values do I have to get?
All the 9,347.
9,347 is your data. This is your data. Okay. But when I do time dot unique, I'm only interested in getting the unique values. Okay. If it is collecting the data every 1 hour, that is 18, 20, 22, 0, 1, 2, that means you should get 24 values. Every hour it's collecting. You have 24 hours in a day. And the time once again repeats, right? Only the date changes, time repeats. Correct? So you should get 21. How do you see it? I use len function. And I get 24. Okay. I use len function and I use 24. Okay. Now, date time function has tons of hidden function in them. Okay. There are tons of hidden function. If you want to understand the year, okay, if you want to understand the year, you call the function dot date. You get the date. Python has a function called dot dt. Okay, when you give dot dt, your date time functions get activated. After that, you give a dot, press tab. You have all your unique functions of your date time. I want to understand the year and I get year. If I give dot unique, the experiment started in the year 2004, it ended in the year 2005. Are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, I want to see for month. I give month here. How many months do I have to get?
12.
12. Okay. If I see date, if I see number of days, how many unique values should I get? How many days you have in a month?
31.
31. If I want to see for week, 52, 53, depends on the leap year or not.
Yes, sir.
Correct? Now, similarly, you can even see the day of a week. Day of a week is normally numerical. That means 0 stands for Monday and 6 stands for Sunday. If you want the output in words, let's say Wednesday or Tuesday, if you want to understand which date it is, you can use weekday name. If you use weekday name, you will understand which day it is. Okay. You also have day of an year. You also have a day of an year. That means the experiment, when did the experiment start? The experiment started on 10th of March. 10th of March is 70th day of the year, 2004. Where will I use this function? Let's say that the college has a scholarship. College started the scholarship in the month of January. Okay, everybody applied for it, but the college decides that whoever applied first will be granted the scholarship. What do they use? They use this function to filter it. Are you guys clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Coming to your time column, we had a separate column for time. You want to see hours? You have dt dot hour. You can see all the hours. Okay. If I give hour dot unique, how many do I get? I get 24 values. It started at 6 o'clock, ended at 5 o'clock. Hour dot unique. You can even see minutes. Yes, Rahul?
So in the previous functions, the functions which we use, if we don't include head, all the 9,000 values will come, right?
Here.
No, sir. Down this day of the year or any other function we are doing from that time. Just if we
See,
give day
if
of
I
the year.
use, it works similar to your data frame. If I give head here, I get 5 values. Okay. If I don't give head and I just run it, what it will do is it will break in between somewhere. Let's say it is at 29. After that, it gives a dot and it gives your last values.
Okay.
Okay. Similarly, let's say that I run this and I have day of the year. It gives in the same fashion. It breaks here. Okay. You have to practice, Rahul. You have to practice a lot.
Yes, sir.
Now, my data in time column, it only had the timings. Okay. It only had the timings, that is in number of hours. If I see minutes or if I see seconds, I get zeros. But still, Python has functions to even see the time. You can see day of the week, you can see floor, you can see nanosecond also. You can see nanoseconds, you can see milliseconds, you can see second. You have tons of functions available here. And they will be activated only when you convert your column to date time. Only when you convert your data type columns to date time. Correct? You can do a lot of filters. You can do a lot of filters. Let's say that I am defining a date stamp of 1st January 2005. Okay. My date stamp is nothing but it's a timestamp of 1st January 2005. Okay. Now I import time delta. Time delta is a function which helps me to subtract the days and time. Okay. After importing time delta, what I do is I use date stamp, and I add 1 day to it. Okay. It was 1st January. I use time delta to add 1 day. Now it is 2nd January. Okay. Are you guys clear? Or I want to subtract 1 day. I subtract it. It is now 31st of December. Okay. I want to add 70 days. You just say days equal to 70. And you add it. Now it is, you are in the month of March. You're in the month of March. Okay. And based on timestamp, when you define a timestamp to a particular date time, you can filter your data for that particular timestamp. You can filter your data. So this is slicing and dicing in your, when you have date time column. Okay. Are you guys clear on this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So keep practicing. You have time till tomorrow, and next week we'll start data visualization. Till then, keep practicing. Okay. Keep practicing. So this is all about pandas. And in pandas, what we did was we directly started off with importing data from your GitHub or from your spreadsheet. Okay. So even in the data analysis, we'll do the same trend. So you have a lot of data here. What you can do is you can import them, each and every data, understand these data sets, try to delete some columns and see what happens. Try to delete any row, try to do some feature engineering. Let's say that you want to add 2 columns and create 1 more column. Try how that works. Okay. Any doubts? In case you don't have any doubts, you can drop off.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Shaina.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Have a great
Thanks a lot.
weekend, sir.
You too. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye, Rahul.